will motivate him. And so I drove down there, and I didn't realize, I mean, this was quite a place. It was an indoor riding arena, and it had the whole riding habit on, and I think, whoa, this is pretty impressive. But anyway, he was so proud. That was the happiest I've ever seen him. And as he rounded around that, ring or whatever, he said to me, Miss Donkey, they'll call me Miss Donkey. Do you want to pet Mario? And I was like, oh, Scott, I don't even like horses. But, I would love to pet Mario. And so I was like, go up to try and pet Mario. He sneezes all over me, and I jump back, and I'm just like horrified. I'm like, get me out of this arena. And he gets down off of his horse and comes over and gives me the courage then to pet Mario. Guess what? We started reading books about horses. We read books about all kinds of things. He finally got motivated. He bought into reading. He ended up graduating from I never can say this right, our alternative high school, and I was able to go. I snuck away from my elementary school. Well, I actually asked permission, but because you have to sign out in blood, when you leave the building. But anyway, and I went and I watched him graduate because it was during the middle of the day, and I was there with his mom and his dad and his grandparents. And you know what? He's wanting to be a fireman now, and he is very successful. So you've got to find some way. You've got to develop those personalized learning plans, guys. If you're a gen ed teacher, you're going to have all kinds of kids in your classroom, okay? You might even have kids that don't really have the cognitive ability to really care about relationships. I had this one boy who has Down syndrome, and he came into my room one day, and he slammed his elbows down the table, and he said, "Not working today, donkey." And I thought, listen, buddy, you aren't going to work. And I thought, what am I going to do with this kid? Because he's real stubborn. I just slammed my elbows down the table. I said, "I'm not working today either." And he looked at me and he goes, "Fine, I'm just kidding, I'll work." But that same little boy would come into my room and he would fire me some days. He'd say, "Don't get you fired." He was really into cops. He would say, "I call cops, they handcuff you and take you to jail." Well, my dad was chief of police, and I knew what that was about. My dad said, "Judy, if you ever find yourself in jail, you're going to find your way out of jail." So I was like, man, I don't want to be handcuffed and taken to jail. But this little boy, Cole, ended up coming to our state banquet in Wichita, and he has now gone through, he's in our program where he actually goes out into a job-related program, and he works at Black and Beach and does lunches and helps with that, and then he also reads to preschool kids and kindergarten kids. He loves little kids. So he's successful in his own way. The last student I'm going to tell you about is a little girl by the name of Amanda. Got her in 2nd grade. She was a true dyslexic, learning disabled child. And I hate the word dyslexic. I had a boy that moved from South Carolina probably about 6 or 7 years ago, and his name was Brian. And Brian came in the very first day. He said, "Hi, my name's Ron Taylor, and I have dyslexia." And I thought, what is that about? It was like he had a big D on his head, And I said, "Oh, honey, that doesn't matter. I mean, we're not going to worry about that dyslexia, And, I was able to help him believe in himself. He finally realized that he didn't have to tell everybody he had dyslexia because he could read, and he has graduated from high school, and that's cool. But Amanda was a different girl. She was very depressed. She had much anxiety. She couldn't read. She couldn't write. And if she didn't write, she couldn't read what she wrote. But she was bright. And I kept saying, she's really bright. So we were able to really build on her abilities. Not focus on her disabilities, build on her abilities. We were able to later then identify her as a dual diagnosis. She was gifted, LD kid, came back in high school, helped my little friends, as I call them, went on. One day she came in all dressed up, and I'm like, man, she was in college, and she was about to graduate. I said, "What are you doing all dressed up?" And she said, "Well, I have an interview." And I said, "So what kind of interview?" Anyway, she got hired as a chemical engineer. She designs power plants in Kiewit in Lenexa, Kansas. So believe in your kids. I'm serious. You help them believe in themselves, and they can be whatever they want to be. So as a teacher, there are so many rewards. But first of all, you've got to build that relationship. And as you student teach, you're going to build a relationship with your supervising teacher, with the principal, with the parents, with the students. And that may help you get a job. So I just wish you the best of luck. It's the best job in the world. So thank you.
I'm Sue Commons, and I teach math at Baxter Springs High School in the very southeast corner of Kansas. My school is about 1.5 miles from Oklahoma and 5 miles from Missouri. And I'm near the Shawnee tribe and the Cherokee tribe and the Quapaw tribe and there's another one. Begins with a W. Okay. But as you can see, all of us live along the highways where the little blue dots are, and Little Crowley live down there in the corner. So when we go somewhere, I drive 3 hours before I ever meet anybody else. My mom is in a nursing home. She's 91, and every time I leave, she says, "Now, honey, is somebody going with you?" I'm alone. My letters are, in math, we have what we call transformations. Anybody know about transformation? Not transformers, transformation. My grandson likes transformers, but I can't get those things, you know. Anyway. In math, the transformations, the first one is a reflection. And we have the unique opportunity as teachers that we can legally and with great enthusiasm steal ideas from other people. It's okay with other teachers if we steal the ideas from them. Sometimes they are even flattered that we have stolen their idea. For instance, Rainey's activity at the beginning of our presentation, how many people think they might ever use it? Oh yeah, it's fun, I like it. The first transformation is translation. In math, you pick up a figure on a piece of graph paper and you move it over somewhere else and lay it down exactly like it was. That is a translation, and that's what we can do with activities sometimes. Then there are the times when we like that activity, but it just doesn't quite fit what we need it for. So we can pick up a figure and rotate it, turn it a little bit different direction, give it a different angle. Rainey teaches elementary PE. I teach secondary math, but I can still use that activity in another way in my class. So I have rotated the activity. And the last transformation is reflection. And you know, reflection is when you get up in the morning and look in the mirror, there's your face all turned around backwards, right? Okay, so if you take a figure on graph paper, pick it up, turn it around backwards, change it completely, and lay it down, that's a reflection. Reflection has many different meanings. Reflection in Spanish is reflexión. Reflection in Dutch is weerglans. Now everybody say weerglans.
Weerglans.
Now you can go home and say that you spoke in Dutch today. You learned something new. Reflection may involve us looking back on an activity and seeing that it really didn't work out the way we thought it would. For instance, if all of you had sat at your desk and not wanted to go do the puzzle, we would reflect on that activity and think, we're probably not going to do that one again, or we're going to have to change something. In my 38 years of teaching, I have reflected a lot, and I have changed a lot of things. Each class is different, and you have to adopt and adapt to the students that you have. You need to meet their needs. You don't want to just go on and leave them behind. You want to be sure to grab their interest and get them involved. As I reflect back on my life, changing an activity involves me liking mashed potatoes. When my mom cooked at home, she peeled potatoes and cut them up, put them in a pan, covered them with water, sat them on the stove, and went off in the other room. When she smelled them burning, she went and got them off the stove and got out a serving dish, turned the pan upside down, and plopped them in the dish and set it on the table. That was potatoes for my household. Well, when I grew up and had my own home, I decided I didn't like that. Plus, they tasted a little scorched all the time. And so, I make mashed potatoes all the time. Well, my mom weighs 91 pounds. Somehow, the translation messed up. But I did reflect it and change it. And the same way with, she made us use the same bath towel all week. Well, I wash them after every use, and which may be overkill, but it didn't bother me to wash them more. It bothered me to keep using them over and over again. Well, in the classroom, you have to be able to either translate, rotate, or reflect an activity that you're going to use. We have agreed as a group that on October 9th, we don't go to the file cabinet and find October 9th, pull it out, and do that lesson. Everything changes every year. Everything changes every day. And so we have to be able to be flexible. We have to change. The government has pretty well decided upon reflection that No Child Left Behind was not as good as we thought it would be. And so we have moved on to the Common Core, or in Kansas, the Kansas College and Career Readiness Standards. I love it when I get through all those words. So as a nation, we have reflected, and it's important for all of us to reflect and change the things that we can and fix the things that we can and be fresh and new every